On this bracelet, I had done this several times. When I started this particular piece, I actually start in a way that was not like that. This was the actual drawing of the small ruff I made. This is where this all started. I went from there and I went into the computer. I took that particular piece and I did this and I did this, and this was that same tracing blown up at 300%. Once I got it at 300%, I started working on the stone, and you have to pick and select the stone size, then work outward into the design. From here, determine what I wanted to do here, what I want to do on the top, how I wanted this to connect into the ultimate bracelet that was going to follow. So then I took and made a clean tracing. These pieces right here. This is where I cleaned this up. I started laying this out, and then I did this section that would go into the bracelet links that went all the way down. The only difference is that I connected these a little differently when I alternated them a little differently. So that was where that went. Then, once I got it laid out, I took those pieces and I assembled them into this bracelet. I wasn't sure. I thought this was too small. This one was too small. And I wanted to go bigger, so I started just to get a feeling, because I haven't done this in so many years, and I mean years. It's been years that I've done this. But just as a concert pianist, when he gets away from the piano and doesn't play Rachmaninoff or Prokofiev or whatever piece he's playing in classical music, he's going to get rusty. So I'm no different. You get rusty. But I know as I was starting to work on this on the computer, I said, no, I understand the commands of the computer to do and build these things. So I made a separate video that you will see after of this particular piece laid out. And then what I did is I went to the first layout of that piece, which is this one. Now, this is all Illustrator Path. This is done entirely in Illustrator Path. The only thing is that I started doing the same thing, practicing the rendering, coloring, putting the stone into the center, and the only thing, it was jade that I was using, and not jade, emerald, and I had an emerald stone that I wanted to use, and I put that in it. And it comes out great because it's a black and white printer. But even though it's black and white, once I start to paint, I put the color in, and each step was done separately. This was a separate piece, the stone was a separate piece, the rim around the stone was a separate piece. All these stones were laid in separately. Same here as that. Those were both, this is a mirror image of that. Then I did these triangles, these tapered baguettes on each side. That would be elevated upward. Then I started to build all the strips going out. And again, that's all pointed out in the video and you'll see it. The final drawing that I just finished this morning is this one. And this is the final work. So here you see the entire bracelet. If I can get it all there. Yeah, there it is. So now this is the entire bracelet. So it's a tedious process. There are other ways of doing this. If you wanted to make just one of these as a separate drawing, put it in color into the computer, then you could put them all in, because they'll be all pre-colored from the computer. And that would help a lot. Deciding on what kind of clasp you're on. I happen to choose this type of scissor clasp. So when this comes around, it double locks on each side. Inside here, there's a mechanism in here that this just snaps back in once you push on these little grooves lock into the walls that are at the end here. There's a space at this end. Now, doing this step by step and teaching myself, I'm teaching myself, no one's teaching me, and I have to learn. Even now, this is not perfect. This is really good, and it really explains the piece thoroughly. A man or woman who's a jeweler could work on this and put it all together. And the way I wanted to do this is I wanted to make this piece right in here. I want that to connect this into this into this. So when you put them together, there's a nice flow to the links. Also, this particular piece right in here might have a little movement in here, ever so slight, just so when you put it on your wrist, it tilts down. With these going around the wrist, this has movement. This particular piece right here is pinned on each side, and that has movement. So it's total flexibility all the way through this bracelet. I think that doing something like this is a little extravagant, but there are people that wear something like this. Very rich people would wear this. Ladies going out in the evening, this type of thing. If you take a mirror and you magnify this in such a way, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but here, when I take the mirror and tilt it, if I bring this over just to this section here, and I were to do a bracelet without that center piece, that could be very, very nice. If I use two mirrors to do the image, and I take a second mirror and I do this, now it takes on a whole other projection. And if you see it with your naked eye, you can actually see the curve of how the bracelet would go around the wrist. And this has a very interesting feeling as well. This is how it stimulates your imagination, and I think that doing that is really great. I hope that you got something out of this, and that when you look at the other video of how I assembled the illustrated path, I'm still a learning curve too. You know, I'm 80 years old and I'm still learning. You never stop learning. If you got a good brain and everything, the blood flow is good to the brain, you never stop learning. And so I'm happy that I was able to show you this, and I hope that you will try and do similar works. There's so many things that can be done with this type of thing. Take care. Thank you very much for watching.